Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Slayer's Lair. I know it's been a little bit too long since we've been here. The interviews may have slowed down once we got into the spring NACL season, but we are back and better than ever, and ahead of maybe the most important split of the year in the North American Challengers League. We are bringing in a new face to the NACL for the first time. So for the first time, please welcome Mr. JonnyRockets Cole, also known as, here to Slayer's Lair, one of the newest top laners in the league here alongside the contingent roster. Mr. Rockets, I appreciate you coming on here, and I'm excited to get to know you, my friend.
Yeah, just thank you for letting me answer some questions and just let people know me a little bit more.
Hell yeah. Okay. All right. So the first things I kind of want to start out with here, and it's kind of similar if anyone's watched my other interviews, kind of just I want to start by talking about how gaming became a thing into your life, right? Because I find that always unique, especially when there's a multitude of ways to do it. Like for me personally, the first game I ever played was Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 on the original Xbox. And I was playing that with my dad. That's how I initially got into gaming. Before we even get to talking about League of Legends here, Cole, what are your earliest memories you have with gaming, and talk to me about what that was like?
Yeah, so I would say the very first games I ever played was Wii Sports and on the Wii. And so I have two older brothers. I'm the youngest in my family. So that's when I got introduced to it. Because I would play Wizard 101 on the computer. So my brothers got me that one.
Nice.
And then I would play Wii Sports Resort. I'd play Olympic Games, ton. But those were they were still kind of sporty, not super video gamey, I guess, yet. Right when I got my Xbox 360, us three, we got it for Christmas. I wasn't, as a kid, actually really until probably high school, I wasn't allowed to play Call of Duty, GTA, any of that.
Yep.
But my brothers convinced my mom to play Halo because I was killing aliens. So that's how I got into video games. So Halo Wars, I don't know if people know that game very well, but it's like a strategy game of Halo.
Oh, I think
that's how I got into it.
Yeah. I actually do.
It's kind of like a strategy, tower defense kind of game.
Yeah.
And then from there, and then I got into Halo 3. So I didn't get to play Halo 2, but I started with Halo 3. I probably played 1 million hours of Halo Reach Infected. And then from there, say around season 3.5, into season 4, when preseason was still a thing, when they used to have those. That's when my brother got into League and kind of introduced me. But before that, I really I probably played 10 hours of Halo a day. So.
Yeah. Okay. That is really funny because I think we share a lot of similarities actually, Cole, because I also, after the Xbox 360, the first console that my family got was a Wii. Wii Sports. I remember Wii Play had the tank level where you had to deflect bullets. Yeah. Me and my buddy could not beat the last level when we were really young, so I remember that. Wii Sports Resort's goated. And then I also had a similar situation to you. I couldn't buy Call of Duty. I couldn't buy Grand Theft Auto. My parents, I was not able to trick them with the Halo fallacy because they saw that they saw the Spartans were bleeding too. It's basically blood was the whole thing. So my funny thing was the game they let me get was the James Bond movie. What's it called? Spectre. The one after Casino Royale had a video game made on it, and that one didn't have any blood on it. It was a T-rated game, so I was allowed to play that one. That was my little loophole. I was top 100 on the multiplayer leaderboard, by the way, just so anyone's curious. Don't ask how many people were playing the game. There's probably 200 people playing the game. But that's cool. So so it also sounds like your brothers have had a big impact on you. Would it be safe to say your brothers had a big impact on virtually every game that you've gotten yourself into at this point?
Yeah. I would say my middle brothers who introduced me to League, but League isn't the only game I play. I still play Overwatch, Rocket League, Apex, a bunch of different games still.
Yeah.
Just to kind of enjoy my time.
That's cool.
So yeah, my brothers have gotten me pretty much in any game I played. Yeah.
That's pretty. That's pretty cool. I'm on the other side of that coin. I actually got my little brother into League of Legends He plays the same role as I do. He is, I think, like a mid-master peak. I've never peaked higher than
He's at
D4.
UCSD. Am
Yes,
I right?
yes, you're correct. That is correct. Shout out Kites. That's my little brother that I got into league. So wait, that's my question. So I got my little brother into league, and then he ended up being way better than me. Are you better than your middle brother at the game that got you into league?
Yeah. So I call my middle brother, but it's kind of weird because I'm 5 years younger than them. So my oldest brother's
Ah,
5 years older than me. My middle brother is 4 years older than me.
okay.
So they're kind of like the same age, and then I'm kind of the young one.
hmm
So yeah. So funny enough, he introduced me to league. He was this is when you actually had to be level 30, and that was the cap. So he was level 18 when I first started playing the game. And my first memory ever in the game is I think I'm playing Ash, and like I'm like losing my mind, raging over the game. I'm like I'm dying to minions over and over again against the bots. I'm losing to the bots. I'm like, what's happening? My brother goes, you have 6 Dorn's blades. Like you have to buy items. So that's when I figured out how to buy items. But yeah, so I got like so into it and like so I don't know, I kind of fell in love with it. My first like main was Draven. I played ADC until like season 9. Didn't even play top lane for a long time. But I actually got to level 30 before my brother did, and he had a 20 level head start. Like that's how much he kind of infected me with the game, and then I did not put it down. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like classic verbiage with League of Legends. It infected you with the game. Yeah, that's definitely how it feels. That's interesting to hear that you're an 80 carry player into top lane. I'll get to that in a little bit about that role swap because that's definitely a weird one. I'm gonna make a mental note of that. But I kind of want to go back to just talking about your upbringing a bit more. I do have some questions later about the sports that you ended up playing when we get later down into college, but alongside all this video game playing, were you and your brothers also pretty active guys, like getting into a lot of sports as well while playing video games? Was that a big part of your childhood as well?
Yeah, I forgot to answer one part. My brother peaked gold. He was a gold NAR one trick.
Oh,
so it's actually funny because I play NAR. But yeah. Okay, but yes. So, my mom actually played volleyball in college, and then so like when I was really really young, both my brothers also played volleyball. Both my brothers played soccer. They played baseball a little bit younger. And then same as me, so I pretty much did every single sport except for basketball and football, which is funny because we're in the United States. It's just funny.
Yep.
Those are like 2 most popular.
Basketball and football. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Unfortunately, not basketball because I don't have a team. But
yep.
I played sports, literally from 3 all the way up until 25. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty much I was either playing. That's why I talked about like with the Wii and stuff. I didn't really play it too much until maybe like middle school is when I started playing video games a lot because I was just always busy with sports.
So how did you find like your relationship with gaming and sports, right? Because I feel almost as if maybe like the dynamic has shifted in the aspect that before, like you were really taking sports seriously, and then maybe like video games were the leisure thing. Was that the dynamic you had with it before, and how's it evolved now, getting up to this point with where you're at, about to play in the North American Challengers League?
Yeah, I would say in middle school and high school, I definitely had a good balance, but I always kind of favored spending more time towards sports. But I think it's very easy to kind of do both at younger ages because it's like, how much work do I really have to do outside of school? Just probably a negative because I never did my homework. But once I got to college, I was also on scholarship, which I know you said we'll talk about it, but I don't know if it was necessarily a switch from one being leisure and one being competitive. I think it's just a sport that I kind of chose to be a master at, or like go to college for and really spend all my time on. Isn't really like a huge professional sport, or like unless you are like the best of the best of the best. There's no a professional league in the United States. So I kind of really just did it because I loved it and I thought I could be really good at it, but with the understanding that, okay, there's going to be a life after this sport. So.
Okay, yeah, and the most important thing there was that you had the love, the passion for it. So that's at the end of the day. We can get to it. It makes it sound like this is some convoluted secret, but you being a collegiate volleyball player, for anyone who doesn't know, is what Cole is talking about. The first thing I want to ask before we talk about collegiate volleyball playing is, Cole. First of all, because we're on social media, or I guess we're in these like little boxes whenever people see us, right? So first of all, how tall do you think I am? and then I'm gonna guess how tall I think you are, because I think I'm willing to bet, knowing your background, that we might be around a similar height, actually. So, how tall do you think I am, based off of the very little shots you've seen of me?
I'm thinking.
Here, do you
I'll
want
be
here?
nice.
Let me give you
5'10" plus.
5'10 plus. I am 5'10 plus. I'll give you a hint. Another thing that links us that you can give a better guess with. My mom also played collegiate volleyball.
Okay. See, my mom was a libero, so you're gonna laugh when
My
I tell you
mom-
how tall my parents are.
My mom was not a libero. So
Okay, then I'm gonna assume you're taller than me. I'm gonna say 6'2".
I am 6'5". I'm yeah. So yeah.
Jeez, Louise.
Yeah. My mom is 6'1". So yeah. So okay. So was your mom a libero too? Is that what?
Yeah. So my parents
okay.
are actually. My dad's 5'6" and my mom's 5'3".
What? Okay. So did you
So
play?
now you get to guess my height.
Okay,
I'm not gonna tell you what position I play.
Okay,
You get to guess my height.
Now I think you
I did not play libero. I'll give you that.
Okay, you did play libero. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 6 foot flat.
I am 6'1".
Oh,
So you were really
close.
close. You were so close.
Okay, but yeah, cool. You know, when I heard that about you, the collegiate volleyball thing, I thought it was the coolest thing. And then hearing that your mom was the one that like connected you, we're getting too many of these weird link ups going on here, Mr. Rockets. This is getting very funny. But let's talk about you know, I don't want to necessarily ask you the basic stuff about what was it like playing collegiate volleyball, but what I want to know is, like, how did playing a collegiate sport teach you, like, stuff like discipline, work regimen, stuff like that? And have you been able to apply that to becoming, like, trying to chase becoming a professional League of Legends player? Like, how does that background benefit you mostly benefited you in the spot you feel like you are now?
Yeah, so I'm actually gonna start with high school if that's okay. 'Cause
Yeah,
I think that kind of explains it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So high school volleyball isn't huge, but it's still important. But it's more so like playing like the club volleyball aspect of it. So I probably spent anywhere between 20 to 30 hours a week just playing volleyball. You know, practice 4 to 5 times a week. Tournaments, I traveled all across the country. I think the highest I ever placed was like 7th in the country for nationals and everything. So very, very intense. Like basically, you get the AAU basketball. It's extremely similar. It's like the exact same thing. So just USAV, USA volleyball. It's the exact same thing. Now it's actually AAU too, funny enough. But literally, think of it the exact same way. Extremely intense, extremely like disciplined, and your coaches are literally like molding you into a human being. So I say that's a good thing and a bad thing, and kind of what has shaped me into how I approach League of Legends. In high school and in college, I think there was a lot of, I don't want to say negativity, but there's a lot of like not positivity when it comes to teaching people how to play volleyball or teaching people how to play any sport. So people can, you know, be very disciplinary when it comes to things like that. So I think initially I learned a lot about, I don't want to say how to lose, but I learned a lot about the negatives, or like solely focusing. So for example, when in high school, I really put all my eggs into volleyball. I was like, volleyball is the only thing I'm good at. I hate school. Like League of Legends is fun, but like volleyball is everything to me. And then when I finished volleyball in high school and club, I was like, oh my gosh, imposter syndrome. Like, who am I? Like, what am I going to do with the rest of my life?
Right.
And then like I had no idea. I didn't apply to colleges. I had no idea what I was going to do. And then fortunately, about a month or two before going to school, I think it was in May, like literally the May before I was supposed to go to college, I had my first school, UHSP, reach out about a volleyball scholarship. And it was like, oh, I like science in undergrad, maybe it'll work out. So that's literally how I got recruited in.
Wow.
I did not apply any, like I literally only applied to Mizzou, which is our state school university. So like, that's the only one I applied to. So with volleyball, and then going into my undergrad and college volleyball, the conference I was in, so I'm in the NAIA, so a little bit different than the NCAA, but still pretty similar, because volleyball is not really big enough where there's too much of a difference, because volleyball still, D1 and D2 are the same, but NAIA is like, if you think about Division 1 volleyball, but it's actually a lot of foreign students come and play in the NAIA, because it's like Division 3, there's no athletic scholarships, but in Division 1 and Division 2, it's very similar to like baseball, for example, where it's like your team has 5 full rides, and you got to split those full rides across 30 students, you know?
Yeah.
So
My
NAI becomes a lot bigger for that.
my roommate played collegiate lacrosse, so I know exactly what you're talking about. You know,
Yeah.
those sports. Yep. Keep going though.
So I was actually, fortunately, because I don't think it's unfortunately, fortunately, it was in the best conference for volleyball in the NAI. So the winner of my conference won, I think, 3 out of the 5 years that I played the national championship.
Wow.
So it sounds good, but for the first 2 years, we did not win a game because it was literally a new program as well.
Okay.
So for the first 2 years, we didn't win a game. The first year got canceled because of COVID. So I think we would have won a game or two the first year. The second year, we literally went 0-22.
Wow.
And my friends that I play Overwatch would tell me to never tell anybody that we went 0-22, but I have to for the story. So I have to.
Okay.
So learning that and like experiencing that really like made me realize, okay, volleyball like can't be everything for me, because if I allow volleyball to be everything for me, or this is going to be connecting to league, if I allow league to be everything for me, I'm not going to do good in school whenever I lose a league game. Like, let's say I go 0-5 in solo queue. Well, what is going to happen to my day? Am I going to fail all my classes? Am I going to fail all my tests? Am I going to get mad at somebody like in a personal relationship? So, you know, I don't want to say I enjoyed losing, but like losing truly taught me how to approach league and approach being, I guess, competitive at something and so passionate about something. So there is a good ending. My fourth year, we went close to even in our record, but my 5th year, we ended up going 20-10. So like,
wow,
all of us, like the bond of losing, like made us realize that we can't, you know, emotionally be attached to the wins and losses. All we can be emotionally attached to is our effort and our attitude. So I actually said that in my interview in the promotion tournament, is that the only things I can control is my effort. So what I'm putting forward, you know, in the game, you know, in review, in anything that pertains to League of Legends or volleyball. And then, you know, my attitude towards my teammates, my attitude towards the enemy, you know, everything about that. So the entire time though, funny enough, I also was playing League. It wasn't really like I was doing one or the other.
Yeah.
It was kind of just like, I played volleyball, and volleyball was very stressful because we lost a lot. And then obviously, I haven't really talked about school too much, but the school I went to was like a health sciences specific school.
Yeah. Can I read out the name? I don't know.
You can go ahead.
I don't know how. Yeah. So this is a hilarious thing, because we'll get into how you did with this school in league a bit down the line too. But it is, for anyone who doesn't wonder, it's the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy in St. Louis. And when Mr. Rockets here, Johnny Rockets, made a very deep run in CLoL that nobody saw coming, a lot of people got attached to the name of your school. So but yeah, go on about how, you know, you also talk to me about the schooling too when you're at the health and sciences school.
So when I first went, it was called St. Louis College of Pharmacy. That was the first name that I started with. So they changed it because they added a few majors, which is one of the majors they added for me was pre-med. So it used to just be pharmacy, and that's why it switched to health sciences and pharmacy. So that's a little bit of just a little
lore,
detail that goes into the crazy name that's 30 million, you know, words long. But so I was on a pre-med track for my undergrad for the entire undergrad. I was pre-med track, and kind of the stress combination of that plus volleyball losing a lot was very difficult. So I played a lot of Rocket League, I played a lot of League, and just like had a lot of, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk, some adult drinks while I would play League in undergrad, just trying to take a break from just everyday life. So I was still pretty good though. I was like masters, just like playing every now and again.
That's a flex.
And like I didn't really review. I just like played solo queue all the time, and like just for fun. Funny enough, that's actually where I met Marquez, which is the Lotus manager. And I actually met Aljun. So I actually played on a team with Aljun when he was like 14 or something, when he was still in middle school.
Wow, that's
Omir in a Masters League, which is like crazy. And I was just doing it for fun. I literally left because I was too busy with volleyball and school. So it's just funny that like now it's kind of full circle where Kez was my manager at St. Cloud. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I kind of switched over, I would say my senior year. I kind of realized kind of what I wanted to do with my schooling. So now I kind of switched to chemistry more so in a lab. So that's why my 5th year is kind of how it was happened, and how UHSP went on that run, and how it all, actually I think that was my 6th year, but regardless, I did a medicinal chemistry master's, and that's kind of when for undergrad our our team wasn't as good. It was kind of just everybody just having fun, playing for free. And then kind of my 5th and 6th years when they started, recruiting people to come for the esports program. And that's kind of what led to that rendition of the roster. Which, funny enough, that rendition of the roster, everybody was so surprised we came out of nowhere. Okay. I get it. But we really weren't that bad. We literally just I don't want to say I didn't play, but like me and my jungler just never had time. Like my jungler at the time, his name is James. He was literally, I think he was a P4, which is, for those who don't know, is literally the last year of the pharmacy doctorate program. So he is literally like finishing his doctorate program, and I'm on my 6th year. So I'm writing my thesis as we're playing. So I'm literally like Diamond 1 75 LP. He's Diamond 1 75 LP. So and then my mid laner is ex CLoL pro. So it's like, we didn't think we were bad, but it's hard to look at accounts and be like, oh, they're decayed, and then be like, well, these guys aren't going to do anything. So
yeah, I mean, hey, I appreciate the giving us a valid out there, but also talk your shit. I mean, you guys did. We can talk about that now, obviously, because that's when I was introduced to your play style. That's when I'd say a good chunk of people. I think a lot of people also now, this promotion tournament that we'll talk about a bit later also helped it. But because you're talking about how like you're writing a thesis during this, like your jungler is nearly about to become like a full-blown pharmacist. How did you guys approach that CLoL tournament, and when did you kind of realize that you could make a bigger dent than maybe not you guys were thinking, but the people expected you, and when you became like the Cinderella story? Talk me through like going through this tournament.
Yeah. So we played in a few different leagues, and I think that's where like Johnny started casting me as well. I think it was NECC where he casted me.
Yeah.
And then we also played in we played CLoL, NECC, and there was another one we played in. But that was kind of when, I think we played Grandview 30 times that year. For some reason, we played them in like every single league we played against them. But we also played against Weaver State a bunch. So at the beginning of the year, I wasn't supposed to play like at all, because I just didn't have time, and I wasn't, that was the other thing. Me and my jungler were also playing for free, like we were just playing for fun. So I didn't have time, and so for some of you who know like tier 3 players, Sir Zepri was on our team.
Yes.
And so Sir Zepri was a mid laner for a while, and then our mid laner at the time, his name was Evrot, and then for those who don't know who that is, he was a tier 1, tier 2 pro in CBLOL. So like been rank 1 in Brazil, was a mid laner on Kaboom, like all those things. So very, very good. So initially they were recruited to actually be the top end mid laner. I was not supposed to play at all.
Wow.
And then something with how the recruitment went is we ended up having both of them, an ADC, a jungler, and then no support. Or they like, we had a few like diamond supports, but nobody to the level of potentially getting, top 16, top 12, top 8. So that was their plan. And so they had told me I wasn't really needed at the beginning, and then kind of, I would say halfway through the first semester of that year, they were kind of like, hey, can we kind of try this out to where Zep will play ADC, Evrot will play mid, and then I'll play top lane. And it was easy because I've actually played on a tier 3 team with Zep before, and like I had played with those guys the past 2 or 3 years before, so it wasn't like I was slotting into anything new. It was just, okay, do I have the time commitment? So that's kind of where it came to, okay, I will do this, I will try. I think we scrimmed 2 times a week plus playing 2 matches, so it was 4 times a week. It was really hard. I'm going to be completely 100% honest with you. It was extremely hard to do all that while writing a thesis. I definitely probably took a few years off of my life. It was worth it, don't get me wrong, but it was extremely difficult, just because, I'm not somebody who is going to do something without trying to 100% be in it. So it's hard to just start something without doing that. So I would say the first semester fall NECC finals, we played against Grandview, and I think we actually won. And I think that's when we kind of realized, okay, like if we really take this serious, the second semester, like our coach obviously is always going to say, okay, you guys can definitely get top 8. But like what we're looking at is like, okay, we really think we can get like top 16 or top 12. So that's kind of when we started realizing, okay, like maybe we can do something with this. So
yeah, that run was just, it was a magical run. And it's always fun to hear that you guys believed in it before the run became to fruition, right? Because that's just all the outside noise doesn't mean squat. It's what you guys know you can do and make that run. So it was awesome. That's when I got introduced. For anyone who's a little bit out of touch, we're talking about the CLoL, the major 2025 bracket, right? So the one that Maryville went on to win in North Carolina. For context for everybody, I kind of want to step back a bit because I think we focused in really a bit on where you kind of broke out. I want to talk more like general league centered stuff for a second here. So up until season 9, you were an 80 carry player. What the hell? How do you figure out how to switch to top lane, right? Because we know all the pro memes about, 80 carries can play. We've seen them swap to support. We've seen junglers swap to support and work out, like mid laners move around. But 80 carry to top, that is not a normal one. So how did we land there? How did this happen?
Okay, so before I ever played like competitive or tier 3, tier 4, even tier 5 League of Legends, I just played with friends and like we would 5-stack. And there was like, I was an ADC main for a long time. I think my highest mastery is still like Vayne. It's like Vayne Ezreal Illusion. I played it forever.
Okay, all right.
I used to play Vayne all the time when Bork still had an active, all that stuff. Like I have every single Vayne skin, loved it to death.
Nice.
But all my friends, like I'd say the 3 out of the 5 of us on our 5-stack were literally ADC mains. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll just go play top lane. Like nobody ever wants to play top lane. So I started playing top lane, and I think the first top laner I played the most was Shen. For some reason, I just played Shen because he actually does a lot of damage, and
okay, yeah.
And I really enjoyed playing him, and it was fun. And like back then, everything was like hyper carry ADCs. So what better than to play Shen and just roll your hyper carry ADCs? So that's kind of what I got into it. That was when I was silver. Keep in mind.
Okay, got it. Silver.
So I was bronze the first year I played, silver the second year I played. Then I got from silver to plat and ADC still. I was like plat 5. I thought I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm insane. Like this is amazing. Next season got plat 3. Next season got plat 1. And then this is what now we're at, where I kind of switched to top lane, where it's like, well, I can't get to diamond with ADC, so I'm just gonna keep playing Shen. I just played like Shen, and I don't even know. I think like Mordekaiser and stuff, just like random stuff.
Okay.
And I got to diamond, and then from there on, I kind of just like, I think there was like maybe like a tier 4 competitive team or something, like a diamond team. And I was like, well, I kind of want to play top lane. Like that sounds kind of fun. So, and it seemed like every single team always needed a top laner. Nobody ever needs an ADC. Everybody always needs a top laner.
Makes sense.
Because there's never any top laners.
Yeah.
So I kind of just stuck with it from there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hey, all right. So that's cool. All right. That makes sense. Listen, I play in circles where I am also, I totally see it. There are 80 carry is the always filled role in my circles too. So it happens. And cool that you went for the Mordekaiser. That's when I get auto-filled top, that's the champion that I play in Mordekaiser because he's very fun. So we are now, so what are we looking at? So now you're playing top lane, you're diamond. Like what's the next evolution here? Because you talk about playing on a competitive diamond team. Was that when you felt like the spark started for like those competitive juices from all sports and stuff started flowing again? And then when did you kind of start, like how high did we climb on the ladder before we went, oh, like maybe there's something here? Like when was the big jump, right?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it was then yet. Like that was still probably during my undergrad years of college, where I was just playing for fun. And then I think around my junior or senior year of undergrad is when I played with the team I mentioned. It was called CB Gaming, which actually did duo queues for a while there too.
Okay.
And like CB and Lotus kind of mixed together.
This is jogging my memory.
So I played Risen Divine, which I think is, I don't know if you know what that league is, but it's
cool.
Literally
cool. That's like the first major break that I got was that I cast. So I probably casted you.
You might have casted me.
I 100% casted you. You said CB Gaming. Yeah. So I started with like plat gold leagues. I was actually a color caster, funnily enough. And then my first big break was that I got told I was going to cast Risen Divine League. So I have 1,000% casted you, and I'm just,
have.
Yeah. So okay, this is a great figure out in the middle of an interview. But keep on going. Yeah, talk to me.
Yeah, I'll keep going. So I played for CB Gaming, and like so this season, that was like the first time I got Masters. But this was when Masters was like GM was 100 OP Masters.
Yes.
So when I got Masters that time, it was like I think it was still like top 1,000. Like I was like ranked like 1099 at Master 16 LP or something, or like I think I was actually in the top 1000 with Master 16 LP. So I was like, and that was when Camille was like the best top laner. Oh my gosh, oh how I miss it. Literally my favorite champ of all time. Like
Okay.
I could build the exact same thing every single game. Like I would go Trinity. I literally remember it: Trinity Force, Ravenous Hydra, Sterix Gauge every single game, and I was just like the greatest champ in the game. And then it got nerfed, and now it's not good. Now it's a good support, which makes me sad because it's so much fun. Like the champ's just so much fun. But that was when I got Masters, and then they kind of changed a bit about their ranks, and then I ended up getting GM for the first time during playing on that CB Gaming team.
Mhm.
And so I would say that was probably when I was like, okay, like I think I could like maybe get Challenger. Maybe not like getting tier 2 or anything like that, but
Right.
that was also when I kind of started getting into the higher leagues of like CLoL as well. So instead of like playing a diamond like or like the tier or not tier 2 but division 2 or division 3 of like the CLoL like NECC and stuff, we started playing in the higher ones, and it was like I was playing against Challenger and GM players and doing fine. Like it didn't really affect me at all. Like I just thought, oh, they just have more time than me. So a combination of those two was kind of like, okay, maybe I can be pretty good at this game. Well, I hope so, because I've been playing it for 30 years. But
Right.
that was kind of like, I better be good at the games. I've been playing this thing forever.
Yeah, okay. I like it. The realization. So, I guess now, like, this is the knowing how much, you dedicated life to volleyball, and obviously you kind of learned in college how to balance out, like, how important school is, regardless of how the volleyball team is doing. But when was, like, the tough... When did you have, like, the tough decision within yourself about, like, hey, like, volleyball's kind of going into the sunset. I want to try and pour more time into league, right? Into chasing this dream, because I know I'm sure you'll bring up Marquez later. I know that, like, when you switch schools, was that like the big moment you realized, like, moving to St. Cloud was like, it's time to make a big change here?
Yeah, I would say it was a few months before that.
Okay.
I don't think it was necessarily a switch between volleyball to esports. It was actually more so when I finished my master's. Funny enough, I'm actually about to start a PhD, which I'll get into. But I actually applied to my PhD, like different medicinal chemistry PhDs, in the winter before I would graduate. That's usually when you apply for them. So the December before, last summer, so 2025. So December 2024 is when I applied, hoping that, okay, I'll finish my master's in, May of 2025, and then I'll start, my PhD in the fall. So kind of just assuming, okay, I'm done with volleyball. I'm good at league, but I don't think I'm that good. Like, I'm still tier 3. I don't think maybe I'd hit Challenger yet. I think actually that December is when I hit Challenger, because I just had so much time on my hands.
Right.
Just doing applications, so just playing all the time. And then I unfortunately did not get accepted into any.
Oh.
So I didn't get accepted in it. I only applied to like 4, but I didn't know if I wanted to do it yet. Like, I was still kind of hesitant. So I got denied from all of them. Ended up graduating, doing fine, writing my thesis. But that fall, I was kind of like, well, I'm not really sure like what I want to do, because I was applying to different jobs. Like, oh, I can just work with a master's. Nothing wrong with that. But still wasn't really getting anything to stick. So I kind of talked to Kez about, thinking about different things to do. And I'd always wanted to do business classes, because I think there's a huge market for like pharmacy business, like employment, just different like big pharma, where I could, work in the lab, but also potentially move up to a business role or business management role through pharmacy. Yeah. So I kind of talked to him about that. And I also thought, well, I think I'm really good at the game. Don't get me wrong, I go 0-11 in solo queue sometimes, but I genuinely think I can, like, I'm really good at the game. So I told Kez, I was like, I talked to him about playing on St. Cloud, and there was a few different iterations. Like, I did a few different tryouts, and it's like I felt like it was a really good stepping stone for me to see, like, okay, do I got it or do I don't? Like, am I going to go into these games or, be on a team with these people? Am I going to be the weakest link? So that's kind of where it started for me. So I was like, okay, like, let's do it. So then, like, my dad actually is an environmental engineer, and he works to do like asbestos removal. So I've actually done, funny enough, my job, like, through undergrad and through my master's, as well as working in the lab, was manual labor. So I was a manual labor for all these years. So this past year, that's what I was doing. So I did manual labor while I also took these business classes.
Nice.
And I actually, for me, I didn't end up being on campus, but I also like, I decided to do it. I actually paid everything out of pocket when I went to St. Cloud.
Wow.
Like I paid for all my courses out of pocket because I felt that, okay, like I could just go get a scholarship and, try. But I felt like if I have if I'm putting my money where my mouth is and I'm like actually paying with it with my own money, like it's going to mean that much more for me. So, deciding to do that, which is, what allowed me to be at home to still work to pay for it, was the best position for me in it. I'll be honest, like if you want me to get in, like I can start, do you want me to keep going? I can
Sure.
just get into
Yeah.
how St. Cloud was. So
yeah, let's do it.
what ended up is there's a few different iterations. Like at one point, I don't want to leak too much, but at one point, like Zep might have come with me. And then like at one point, there's a few different people that were going to go in different directions. So,
yeah.
But what ended up being the roster was me, Dardock or Josh. So
Yep.
if I call him Josh, that's what I'm talking about. Sim is our mid laner, and then Zev and Nukes is our bot lane. So that's what ended up being the roster. And then Chad Jungle was our coach, and then Kez our manager. So the first month was hard because I'd never been like in a scenario like that. Because like with UHSP, I'm after everything with volleyball and everything, I'm huge on like team camaraderie, positivity. We all would yell at each other and like be very critical of each other, but it's a lot easier when you're in person. And we've been on a team for 4 years. I'm gonna yell at you, but then after our scrim, we're gonna go eat dinner together. So it was easy to kind of flip the switch of like, okay, you're my teammate right now and you're my friend right now. And I think that in the first month, it was very hard for me to turn that switch off when we would scrim.
Yeah.
And so I appreciated, and the whole reason I signed up for it was to, have my jungler or anyone on my team or Chad or Josh or anybody be very critical of me. But it was hard to see the difference between, okay, like, is Josh actually mad at me right now? Or is he just like frustrated about the game sense, and he's trying to help me? So that was like my biggest struggle at the beginning, which I'm very glad I went through that because like, unfortunately, NACL is all online. So
yeah,
I mean, that's all I'm doing is being on Discord calls with my teammates all the time. So the first month was extremely stressful.
Right.
But I think the one thing that I did that I felt really benefited me was that like, even if I was wrong or even if I didn't understand something, like I actually spoke. And I think a lot of people don't, like a lot of people will just sit in their mistakes, especially in esports.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think that you're online so much, and I think that was why I was so thankful of my time with volleyball, is because I had so much like in-person negativity or in-person constructive criticism.
Right.
That like I didn't mind, like, don't get me wrong, I think Josh is phenomenal. Like obviously he's like one of the most well-known pros like ever.
Yeah.
But like that doesn't like that can't mean something to me when I'm on the same team as him. Like it can't stop me from like challenging him or potentially being critical of him as well. So I think the first month I was kind of figuring out the lines of everyone, but like after that I was truly, I think that like Josh appreciated that I had my own opinion. And that's when I kind of realized, okay, the way that I'm going to improve, the way that I need to review, the way that I need to talk to my teammates, whatever I say, it's okay if it's right or wrong. I just need to have my own opinion. Like I just need to tell them what I think so that I can be wrong. Like I actually, funny enough, when we were screwing with Contingent yesterday, it's like, well, okay, I am on Contingent. Don't mean to be a leaker, but I am.
It's all right. I think by the time this thing goes live, I would hope that they've announced it. So you're good. Yeah.
I was saying, I'd like to think everybody do that, but regardless, it's like I talked to my team yesterday, and it's like one of the things we were talking about is like, if I'm doing something wrong, I want you to say it in the moment instead of telling me after, because I'd much rather be wrong than lose. Like I'd much rather be wrong and win than be right and lose, or even be wrong and lose. Like I'd rather win. I'll be 0-20. I truly do not care about my stats. Like I just want to win and be successful. So having that mentality with, Josh and Chad and Zebanukes and Sim, it kind of really helped me grow as a person while also growing as a player. So that, and then of course, just the opportunity to have better scrims.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to scrim against NACL teams. I got to scrim against high CLoL teams, which are basically NACL teams,
Yep.
So just getting that experience too is like huge. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a lot of awesome stuff. I know. I think that's very cool, and I think that's, you know, somebody that also like grew up playing sports alongside League. I was not good enough to be collegiate anything, but you know, like I really resonate with the idea that there are people are going to roll their eyes whenever you do the sports logic and esports, but this is something that I think is true at all. And what you're talking about is like learning competitive environments. Like we can take a lot of good stuff there from sports. I really resonate with what
Absolutely.
like I'm not here building a team. I'm not a coach. I'm not a GM, but I would like, if I were running a team, my team to be in the environment where they feel like they could always be critical of each other and themselves. So that's awesome to hear. So you talked about how it was like a rough first month. And I kind of want to use this to branch out into talking about like what I think another thing that I find really valuable when talking to people like semi-pro players or anybody really high up in these leagues is what they do to kind of take their mind away from League of Legends, right? I talked to Sushi. Sushi loves playing the piano, and he's like a really good piano player. He loves taking walks. Like that's something. And I'm sure you know, but like I really think his like mental approach to the game is very, very smart. I think he's like one of the least tiltable people I've ever seen play the game. So talk to me about like rough month of scrims, right? Or like bad day of solo queue. Like what are you doing? What's the Cole regimen to unplug your brain from League and just like take your mind off of like life, I guess?
Okay, so I would say there's probably two main ones, and there's a connection between the two. But before I get into that, the most important one is my dog. I love my dog to death.
Okay.
She's amazing. Sometimes, and actually in the promotion tournament, she lays right behind me, and you can actually see her. So when I did my interview, funny enough, for my PhD program, she was actually laying behind me the entire time. So I think she was helping me get the PhD spot. I'm not gonna lie.
Smart.
That's helpful. I mean, she's 13 now, so I've literally had her since 6th grade. So she's literally been like basically my emotional support animal the entire time. So she's awesome.
What type of dog is she? I can't remember.
She's a rescue. So she has like German Shepherd colors. So she's black and gold, but she's also a hound dog. So she has like hound dog ears, but she's black and gold. So that's
big dog, I assume too.
Yeah, she's about 70 pounds. But hopefully you guys will get to see her when I play some of these NACL matches. So.
And what's her name so we can look out for her?
Her name's Daisy.
Daisy. All right. So everyone look out for Daisy in the player camps.
Yes. I will probably post her on Twitter too. Okay. Bad scrims. Let's think about this. So I'm not gonna lie. One of the two, have a bad week of scrims or something, just look forward to Friday. Just go have a few brews with my friends. So
hell yeah.
That was one huge thing from like volleyball that I mentioned, is that we lost a lot together, but you do not know how much you bond until you lose. Like everything's all great and dandy when you're winning, but like you truly become extremely close to people, and you truly see who people are when you lose. So losing that much truly created a really good like strong bond between us. So being able to have a break away from the game is always nice in that instance. So just going to the bar or going to a happy hour, going to watch a Ravens game for me personally, or any NFL game, just going anywhere. That would be one. Now the other one still involves them, but when I mentioned the games I play earlier, so it's actually not really that different than League. We play like competitive Overwatch and Apex, but like we hard sweat, like full comms, hard sweat Overwatch. And like Apex we do too, but not as much.
Okay.
So there's like 3 or 4 of us, or even 5 of us sometimes, and we are in there common like crazy, doing comps, all this stuff. And it's just like, I actually think some of these games have really helped me with League, but it's just a nice break to think about something else. And it's like, when you play League, you use your entire brain. Like when you play League, like especially solo queue, something I learned is like when I'm listening to music or I'm watching a video, I'm not going to get better playing solo queue. So even playing 15 games a day is not going to benefit me, especially if I'm not focused. So it's kind of the same thing with Overwatch or Apex. Like I really got to be 100% in Overwatch. And so that actually kind of helps me a little bit to get away from League. So I'm thinking about it totally different. And I'm not like as good. Okay.
So yeah, like,
I've gotten a Masters in Overwatch.
Okay, yeah, I was curious how high you peak in these games if you're.
But we usually play around like Diamond. We're like Diamond. Well, okay, so that's the thing. Like, funny, my brother was a pro in Apex.
Oh, so okay. Damn, it's in the genetics. I see.
He carries me in Apex, but I've gotten to like Masters in Apex too. Never Pred, but he carries me in that game. But Overwatch, yeah. It's just nice to play something else. And it's just very relaxing. And the I'd say the main, similarity between the two is just my friends. Like I really enjoy and my friends, literally none of them play League. None of them have a lick of any knowledge about League. They have no idea what the game.
Yeah.
Like they don't know anything about it. So it's kind of nice just being like Cole around them.
Right. Yeah.
And, like we're all volleyball teammates. It's kind of nice just like having a break from it. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I totally get that. And it's cool to hear that you still peak pretty high in those games as well. But hey, listen, yeah. Someday, maybe Cole will be able to. Maybe we could get a couple brews and watch an NFL game on I guess not Friday night, but that'd be fun.
Know.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep you posted, my friend. So I want to get back to League because I want to talk now about your identity as a player and maybe some like inspirations of that, right? So I remember getting to see you play like disgustingly amazing Gwen games on that St. Louis pharmacy. Yeah, so that's one of them. So I think of you as like a pretty big like carry oriented player. But talk to me about what you would say your play style is. Talk to me about some other champions that like you feel like are JonnyRockets top laners, and then maybe just some pro players you've seen in solo queue, like who inspired this play style as well in your mind.
Yeah, definitely like the Bruiser-esque champs I like to play a lot, or carries, Yeah. I would say instead of like always calling them carries, I would say they're just the counter pick champs. That's what I like the most. It's like I really enjoy, using the strategy or, my brain to my full effect when I play, and that's kind of what led to it. Is that like, not to say that tanks aren't as much like knowledge being used. It's more so like I was never able to kind of fully expand my brain around tank matchups.
Right.
So like the first one that ever really got me into the game is what I said was Camille.
Yeah.
Well, Camille Jax was literally like every single game for like an entire season. It was just Camille Jax. So, I mean, my most played champs that entire season was Camille and Jax. So that's kind of what got me into like the really strategic or bruiser side of like top lane. And then when Gwen came out, and then you're playing Gwen versus Jax, or you're playing, Yone versus Jax, like every single one of these iterations of these comps where it's like, okay, well, one's supposed to counter the other, but like it's so much brain power that you can use to really like kind of turn these matchups. And that's what really got me into these champs. So the first top laner I loved was Nuguri on Damwon.
Okay.
That is who I watched because he is like the most mechanically like insane top laner ever. Like at his peak was probably the most mechanical like top laner I've ever seen.
Yep.
Not to say he's like the best top laner ever, but like
so you're
like when he was doing his worlds, he was like
you're taking Nuguri peak over the Shy peak. That's what I'm curious about. Would you?
I'm just
that's
like,
the one
like,
guy
that probably
yeah.
That was probably like one of the most dominant like worlds runs I've ever seen. Like,
yeah.
This guy is literally like just destroying everyone. And then he went to FPX and he was. We don't talk about that. But like before, he like it was like watching him literally make Kennen look like the best champ in the entire world. Like it was like one of the like what made me like these like mechanical champs so much. So I really like Nuguri, and then top lane actually my favorite top laner in NA was actually Haunter because I watched TSM a bunch with my brother. Okay. So and he used
were
to
you
play
guys TSM fans too? I guess is that
I was a TSM fan.
I was also a TSM fan too,
which I think most North American players are usually always TSM fans. Yeah,
but I will say for myself, I got in early. The first video that I ever watched from TSM was the Bjergsen announcement. So I did see that. I at least got in there before, like they were still like a big bad LCS team, but they weren't like I don't think they were what they became yet. Before they picked up Bjergsen.
Oh, I remember watching Chaos Rain and Dyrus get mad at each other and yell at each other in the house.
Yep.
The first tournament that Bjergsen played in was called Battle of the Atlantic. They don't do that anymore.
They don't.
Then they did Rivals, but the first one, I remember right when he joined. So I've been watching for a while. I watched all the Legends episodes, everything.
Another link, man. You gotta quit it. Okay, yeah, but yeah. Haunter,
yeah. Haunter I just enjoyed because nobody ever really like specifically said, "Oh, Haunter's the best top laner." Like a lot of people kind of used to talk about Balls a lot. I think that was like the one that people used to really talk about a lot.
Yep.
But he always just seemed to win, and it always seemed like Haunter truly was like a pivotal part of his team, whether that be motivation, whether that be skill, whether that be comms, whatever the case was, it always seemed like he was the one kind of like the TSM always seemed to win with him. So
I agree.
it just like I really enjoyed him, but yeah, I'd say mechanically it was Degree. Like watching him in Worlds, like I could go back to that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It is definitely top 3 best peaking top laners I've ever seen was definitely Nuggery. So that's cool. So now that we kind of understand the like how like you approach the game, like the styles you want to play, talk to me about how you were able to fit in as a player now, like coming a bit more present day. This contingent roster I want to focus on, right? Like, how does this come together? Were there like what was there familiarity with some of this roster, and then I guess how do you feel this contingent roster compares to teams you played for before? Because from an outside perspective of that promotion tournament, you guys like Deathmark played a very different style of League of Legends than I think most people were used to. Were those things that you identified early on? I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Let's start. Like, how did you get onto this contingent roster? How did it come together?
Yeah, that's okay. So I think that I am definitely the odd man out. Like I've never played with the 4 of these people before.
Mm-hmm.
The first time Phil, who kind of made the team, actually saw me, funny enough, was in my CLoL top 8 game against UCI. He's actually in the Twitch chat and literally messaged me during that series and said, "If you win, you're on my team." But before that, I literally, I didn't end up winning, funny enough. But before then, I had never talked to any of them, never talked to Phil. Like I actually had asked to Phil, like, "Hey, I know you're making a team. I know it's obviously gonna be good because Phil always has good teams, but I didn't really know a lot about him." I was like, "If you need a top laner, I'd love to try out." Like trying to reach out to people because before they actually gave me the spot, I don't really. I think it's fine me saying it, but I was between like 2 teams. So Daystar was another team in the OQ, which Sean is I would say a good friend of mine now. We've talked a lot about League and trying to make teams and stuff like that. So
shout out Sean Tonin,
yeah, shout out Sean. I was potentially going to be on that one. I did a few like trials with them. The other team actually was Team Samsara Bloom, which is actually their second team, not even their first team.
Yeah.
So I did their tryouts for their academy team, which they wanted to do AVL with, which I'm not even eligible to compete in AVL.
Yeah.
But I talked to Kongzi because I know Kongzi from like different like amateur tournaments, and I was like, "Is there potential to join the first team from that?" And he was like, "Yeah, you should just try out, just like see how you like it, just do it." So I was like, that was also in a time where I was literally trying out for every single team. I was subbing for every single scrim possible. I was scrimming literally 7 days a week, VOD reviewing. Like I did one-on-ones with Fawn, if you know who Fawn is.
Yep.
I did one-on-ones with Fawn for like literally a month straight. Like this was all leading up to the OQ. Like this is when I was like, which is okay. I guess I did skip over this part. When I went to St. Cloud, for the viewers who are watching, I basically gave myself like a year to be like, okay, I'm gonna fully immerse myself into League of Legends and fully grind this game out. And if I suck, I'm never gonna play it again. But if I do good, hopefully I will get to tier 2. So that was kind of the timetable I gave myself. So that's why I, subbed for every scrim. I scrimmed 7 days a week, reviewed like one-on-one for an hour, 2 hours, like every single day, solo queues, scrims, everything. And with all that, I still did not have any good like offers or anything. Like it was like, okay, maybe we could do something with Daystar. Like I was scrimming with Samsara Bloom against the first team, and that was Kappa, who was the top laner. And I told Kongzi, I was like, "Is there any chance I could take his spot?" Because I was like, no disrespect to him, but like I'm asking anyone, you know, can I take their spot? Like, are you guys willing to replace him? It's no disrespect to anybody, but like I was like, I feel like I'm the best top laner in this OQ.
Exactly.
Is there a spot for me? But at that time, I had nothing to show for it, so I don't feel bad when any of them said no. So I think it was like 4 or 5 days before the OQ like roster lock was in, and Kongzi was like, "No, we're just gonna stay with him because they've been on the same team for 2 years." So I was like, "Okay, whatever." So now then, here I am with either I play on this Daystar team, which nothing wrong with it, but it's like, okay, maybe we get top 12, or I play with the Samsara Bloom team where it's like none of these guys have ever played. Like tier 3 OQ, like maybe they played like once or twice. So, and then all of a sudden Phil's like, okay, we might have a spot for you, come try out. And it's like I'm going from those scrims where it's like all Masters players, or like all Masters and GM players that have like kind of getting into it. I'm going from that. The next day I'm scrimming against an NACL team for my tryout. So it's like,
hell yeah.
Because initially the team, what it was supposed to be, before me, is there was a few NACL top laners. Like I don't know if this is a leak or not, but like with Maryville, they have 2 different top laners, and I think potentially their idea when they were making the roster, I don't know if they were supposed to be, but Phil's idea was that one of the 2 Maryville top laners was going to be the top laner. I believe.
Okay, right.
I think that because I never talked to Phil before, so this is kind of just what the OQ things you take with a grain of salt, but that's like what
Right.
I had heard before when I had said like, do you think you'll need me? He was like, absolutely not. And then I was like, Kez, do you like potentially know who their top laner is going to be? And he was like, yeah, it might be one of them. So then I was like, okay, well, yeah, then obviously they're going to take one of them. That's fine. So I guess that potentially didn't happen. Whatever the case may be. That's when Phil was like, literally the day before roster lock or 2 days before roster lock, was like, hey, do you want to come like try out with us? And then even then, I thought it was a tryout. And then this is what happened. CLoL happened. I literally interviewed with Phil for 2.5 hours. Like just going over VOD reviews, interviewing like him, seeing like if I potentially could be a candidate for the team, and then nothing for that entire week. And then I messaged him on like Friday before the Sunday roster, like hey, like am I gonna try out at all? And he was like, yeah, I don't know, like the team's still deciding. So there was, even after all that stuff with like potentially NACL top winner, there was still 2 more top winners that they actually were gonna go with before me.
Wow.
And then like 2 days before the roster, like I tried out. I think we won the scrim like 4-0, and then tried it again on Saturday, won the scrim like all the games. And then I was like, am I on the team? He's like, yep, you're on the team. Literally the day before roster locks, I was on the team.
Wow.
So then I get on the team, and it's literally like, you were like, do you know anyone? I don't know anybody. I feel out of my place, like everything. But I thought that was gonna like scare me, but it actually was the opposite. So I don't know how many people I've told this to, but when the roster like announcement came out on Twitter, everybody's like, man, that's awesome, like congrats, like that's amazing, like how'd you make that roster, like how'd you do it? Because there's not really a lot of like conversation right now about OQ rosters. Like it's hard, like you just got to know people, like a lot of people play with their friends, like that's kind of how it goes. So getting notice or interest for teams is like it's a lot harder. So people are like, how'd you do it? So I literally like, what was I supposed to say? So I literally just responded to everybody saying RNG, and like I don't know, I got lucky. Because it was like, truth be told, like I did, like to have an opportunity to play with, you know, basically 4 NACL or ex-NACL players is extremely lucky. So like even when I would jokingly say RNG, like I did truly mean RNG. Like I truly got, you know, lucky opportunity, but then I did the best of what I had with my opportunity. So
no, I mean, I think luck. Everybody in spaces like this needs a bit of luck. To me, it's like, what do you do to capitalize on it? Because at some point you're gonna have luck come your way. Like I could tell you 3 different stories about times that I got lucky with casting, and I feel like we'll see if I've capitalized on it to the highest degree, but we're getting there. No, that is interesting, right? So I guess why did you feel like, you know, something that made you really nervous about this contingent team not knowing anybody helped you? Like was it like an integration thing, or like just like how did this turn around so much from what you were expecting it to be in your head, being the guy not knowing anybody?
Yeah. So I was nervous that it was going to be a similar situation to St. Cloud, where I was going to be the new guy. Like I felt like everybody was, you know, experienced, well-known name, and now here I am, just like on the team, like, oh, I'm just kind of riding coattails. And I thought that's how it was going to be. It was going to be the same, but it actually wasn't. So the reason it wasn't is because like the people on the team, the actual style was extremely similar to St. Cloud. Like City or Kaido, my jungler on Contingent, and Josh or Dardock, they are very like aggressive junglers, very not flippy, but like counter jungling, like very much play through the games, like are extreme, like so knowledgeable about the game,
punishing,
and have a way the game wants to go. Exactly, punishing. Have a game, like have a way that the game is supposed to go in their head, and this is how it's gonna go. So when I got into like the scrims and communication and all that stuff, it actually felt like extremely like similar and very easy to kind of like onboard myself into the team for one. But the actual worries I had was like, oh, are these guys gonna like think I'm good enough, or like am I gonna be good enough, or like people gonna think I'm like trash because I'm just like getting carried. But it actually, all of my teammates being good made me feel better, because I was like, well, if all my teammates are established, well-known names that are going to be in the NACL, and I'm just here and I'm doing bad, well, it's going to be so obvious if I suck. Like, it's going to be so obvious. So it kind of just went with like my plan of like, okay, I have a year to get there. if I suck, it's gonna be so obvious that I know I'm gonna suck, and then I'm just never gonna play League again. So I literally would tell Kez this like all the time. It's like I'm actually not stressed at all because like it's not like a destiny thing, like, oh, if I'm meant to do this, but it's more so like I'm gonna try my best, and if I'm meant to like be successful, then I'm gonna be successful. If I'm meant to suck, then I'm gonna suck. So I'm gonna do my best, but whatever that means is whatever it means, and I can't control that. So I actually really enjoyed having really good teammates because of course they're doing good, but also like if I suck and they're all doing good, it's extremely obvious. So it made it a lot less stressful. Like I was really stress free when I was like doing the scrims and playing, and I think Phil also helped out like a lot with that too because
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
one of Phil's like huge things that you don't really see until you have him as a coach is just the environment he creates in the scrims and like the mentality he's allowed to create, like the banter and just the relaxed environment that he's that he creates. So I never really felt stressed by my coach. Like of course my coach is being critical with me, but I never felt like pressured by my coach to be better unless it was like me feeling pressured to do better for me. So I really enjoyed that too.
I've heard similar sentiments about the thin Uncle Phil coaching experience. I think he's a wonderful mind, a hilarious guy on Twitter. I guess retired now. Again,
Everybody in league retired.
I look at his retirement the same way I always look at Beans every time he retires.
Or sneezes. They're all the same.
Yeah, sorry, I did mean sneezes. I did not mean Beans. Actually, yeah, sneezes.
They retire and then they coach everybody. Yep.
Yeah, we endlessly appreciate you guys. But so now let's keep moving forward on like the timeline, right? Yeah. We get to this qualifier. I believe you guys were the second team to qualify. The bracket is very weird.
Yeah, we were in the winners, so it's like we ended up being the 2 seed, but I would kind of see like us and Lotus as like the 2 1 seeds, and then the 2 lower bracket were the 2 2 seeds. It just happened to be that they were on the top side of the bracket and we were on the bottom side of the bracket, so I don't know if that's necessarily the smartest thing to do, but that's just how it ended up being, us being the 2 seed and that being the 1 seed. So
right. So, but basically, like you guys did perform pretty well to like get to qualifying like into the 2 seed. So I guess you like necessarily didn't play, as far into the tournament, like as much risky stakes as like a death.
Oh yeah.
Right.
We only played 2 weeks. We didn't play the 3rd week.
Yeah. So obviously, you just talked about how you felt like the team you were playing on is guys that play in the NACL. For people who are like not very knowledgeable on the roster, like offhand, that's okay. Like Kaido was City Witty, he was in the NACL. Sila was with Citadel last year. Daption was in the NACL a bit of time ago as well. So like, yeah, there are players, and Breezy, of course. Breezy is also a guy that was in NACL just a bit ago. So for people who don't know, it's the context. Obviously, knowing that your team felt like we should qualify for the promotion tournament, did it go, I guess, as well as you expected? Did you expect a higher level of competition? Like, talk to me about what you thought of the tournament when you started as a team, and then by the time you qualify for that promotion tournament.
Yeah. So the actual qualifier games. So we only actually played, I think it was 3 because we had a bye for the first round. So we only actually played 3 matches in our qualifier. The first one, was straightforward. The second one, we actually lost a game. That was the only game we actually lost before the promotion tournament, and we actually almost lost that entire series. Like the third game of that Calamity series was like 50 minutes long. Like I think I was like 10-0 and 14 in that game, and like had like some crazy amount of gold. Like everybody was full build, but that game like was kind of needed. Like, I think when you have a team like this where people that are established and well-known, I don't think any of my teammates were cocky, but my teammates definitely, obviously if I'm in the NACL and now I'm playing in the OQs, like, of course I'm going to think I'm potentially better than other people. So it's not that I'm not going to be locked in, but I potentially won't be as hungry as I would be if I'm trying to get into the NACL for the first time.
Right.
So I think, the team we played against potentially was a little bit more foot on the gas against us. And so it kind of like, a little bit of a fire under us to kind of like, okay, like we need to like start locking in, like here we go. And then our third game to get into the promotion tournament, or no, wait, oh no, we played 4. Sorry.
Yeah, I think
our third game was against 9 Lives, which was kind of like we were 2 of the top teams.
Yep.
Which was crazy because then we played against 9 Lives again in the promotion tournament, and everybody bet against us to lose them. or to listen. We won 2-0. Like we like respectfully, we
Yeah,
like destroyed them. We like who did that? Like
Who
who
did
would do
that?
We literally destroyed them in the OQ, and then like
I've been
respectfully, of
exposed.
course. But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
the fourth game was Dead Region, which people on Dead Region were good, but it's obviously it was just a bunch of guys just having fun. So that game wasn't as, the third game was definitely our hardest one. But we won 2-0. The OQ itself, yeah, I think everybody on our team was, you know, promotion or failure. That's kind of the expectation that was on our team and how we were scrimming, who we were scrimming, all of these things. So I very much felt that. I also, even if I had different teammates, that was also my expectation. Even if I was on Samsara Bloom or on any team, that's my expectation, you know, based off how my CLoL experience went with St. Cloud and who I've been playing with and how I've been reviewing. Like that was literally how I felt or where I should be. You know, if I'm not promoting into NACL, like if I'm still not good enough as a top laner to be in that level, then I need to have a conversation with myself. So
Right. Yeah, and yeah, you know what? I do put my hand up. Like I should have recognized. You know, hey, to be honest, you know, listen,
they're more well-known names. It's fine.
It's, you know, you were being kind, but at the core of my duty, my jobs, I guess is what I can call it, is just saying a bunch of shit, and I'm gonna be wrong. That's the fun part of me is sometimes being wrong, and happily wrong about your team, of course. Let's now talk about the promotion tourney because and talk about, you know, pundits and what they were saying, because obviously, like, I don't know if you watched the Salt Mine episode of, like, we obviously did the promotion tournament. We talked about the promotion tournament. We thought we was going to promote. You know, we had, I think Bach was on there and talking about who he thought he was going to promote. You heard a bunch of outside people talking about who they think is going to promote in the ACL. And obviously, a lot of the sentiment was, at least in my opinion, was that Blue were going to stay up. Some people even had AMI staying up too. Or Lotus or Nine Lives, like you were talking about. I think those were the most consensus. I rarely heard Contingent. Was that outside noise ever communicated to you guys, like from Phil, or did you hear it? And then, if so, do you feel like it lit a fire under you guys more, or what? Because I know you guys were confident you could promote. Like, I don't need to ask you that part. I'm asking, like, were there outside influence, like, help? Did you guys use that as fuel for this run at all?
I don't think it was potentially used as fuel, but I will say Phil sent it to us every single time anybody ever said we didn't promote. So we definitely knew every single person that
did. Good on you,
because
Phil. Yep.
I think my teammates all very much felt that we should promote, and I also did too. I will say the only difference, the thing for me was, like, a lot of people were saying different, like, I don't know, you could argue who the best support in NACL is. I literally thought I had, like, the best support under tier 1 on my team. In the promotion tournament. It's like, how am I not going to promote when I literally have the best support in NACL, not let alone the promotion tournament? I had the best support under tier 1. Literally just played for Dignitas for a week.
Yep.
And, like, people are saying, like, we're not going to promote. So that was kind of my opinion of, like, shout out Breezy. So, like,
go Birds, Breezy,
I never
too.
was.
I know he's a Birds fan, Cole, so I know that too. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go Ravens, go Ravens. It's fine. But, like, that was my perspective. It's like every single one of my teammates I felt was extremely capable. And also just, like, how we were approaching practice. And, like, everybody was very locked in for practice, too. And I'm sure the other OQ or promotion teams were as well. But it was kind of just, like, a different, like, it was, like, just the expectations that all of us were holding ourselves to, especially in the games, was extremely high. So I never, like, I don't think any of us ever didn't think we were going to promote. And I think that's kind of what, not in a cocky way, but more so like you know, it's like I want to promote as bad as I want to breathe kind of thing. It's like, like, this is what I want to do, so I'm going to do it. So
I get you. I totally understand that. The last thing I kind of ask about the promotion tournament itself was, it's very funny now, right? Because as we're recording this, we're in the swing of MSI. For anyone that wants context, G2 just upset T1 yesterday. So that's the day we're recording this.
Yep.
I think the promotion tournament is very unique in the grand scheme of the league calendar right now, Cole, because we saw this promotion tournament be marked by the mage bot play. Like, you guys, I think, played very unique style comps. Deathmark also, I think, played a lot of comps that I, to be frank, I think people just didn't prep correctly for them. Maybe didn't scrim you guys enough to even know this stuff was happening. But, like, that stuff started here, and now we're seeing it, like, at MSI. We're seeing, like, Mel versus Cassiopeia. Syndra versus Cassiopeia was like a bot lane matchup. Did you guys get like a hold on the meta read somewhat going into the NACL, or like how do you guys feel like you read the meta? Because I think that was a pretty big factor in your guys' ability to at least catch some of these teams off guard.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it also benefited me specifically because I've watched all of like the MSI games too, and I watched the game last night. And one of the things that K-Drill has talked about, I usually watch K-Drill. I don't probably should watch the main broadcast as well, but that's usually who I watch because I enjoy what he says about the game.
Shout out K-Drill, man. Yeah, he shouted me out, so I ain't gonna flame him at all.
he's the GOAT. But some of the things he talked about is actually the benefit of MageBot on actually top lane, and like the importance of counter picking top lane now, because you have these potential control mages in bot lane. So how much more important top lane is. So you actually kind of could see it a little bit in our promotion games. It's like one of the games I actually played Yone, or when I'm playing like these different very aggressive or counter pick champs. They're becoming more beneficial because now I'm able to have a little bit more jungle or support presence, especially like the way like Breezy played. Breezy very much played like through jungle and top lane, and that really helped me with like different characters I picked, because my ADC was able to be alone on like a Hui or a Syndra or a Cassiopeia, like these champs that could just sit in bot like a Mel. Like a Mel could just sit under this tower and press her W and like be there forever.
Yeah.
So those things, and Kajal talked about it last night a lot, is like really allowing top lane to be a force, and how important counter pick is becoming in top lane. So I think that really was a huge thing for us when we practiced and when we did our promo. And the same thing for Deathmark is another good example, is they played a lot of mage bots, but also their top laner is also a very aggressive player and will play different champs like an Akali or a Ribbon or something that is a huge, like a counter pick, like a huge niche pick. So you're seeing it now in MSI to where like they can really go, like for example last night I think Broken Blade played like Yasuo and Anar, which is a very well known pick for Broken Blade, but it's like certain things like that where you can really flex on a character that you think is going to absolutely dominate your lane. And so like, hey, I think I'm going to absolutely destroy this guy with a 40 CS lead. If I can have my support up here, it's going to go from a 40 CS lead to a 40 CS lead plus 3 kills. And my bot laner's only dying once with like the same CS. Like it is a huge like game changer. I mean, Broken Blade is carrying every game last night. And it's kind of like the same thing where Hansama might not be on a mage, but he's playing Ashe, he's playing Ezreal, he's playing whatever the case may be, he's playing these control characters. Exactly. He's playing control characters that allows his top laner to really just like, okay, this is how I want to, go through the game. So
yeah, I totally agree with that read, because I've been screwing at people on TikTok about how everyone's been flaming the ever-loving shit out of Viper, but people don't recognize that what you just said is how BLG play every single game. They just ignore Viper and they play for their solos. And hey, guys, they're on a golden road, so screw all you talking bad about my. My
Ben's pretty good too.
Ben,
right.
Yeah.
He might be the best top laner in the world. He's pretty good.
Yeah. So okay, hey, listen. Before we get off this, I'm gonna make you pick an MSI champion. Do you think it's gonna be BLG, or is the golden road over? I guess
HLE's really good.
They are really good. I think that's the final, to be honest with you, is probably BLG HLE, even if we're getting it tonight as of recording. So
I'm going to pick BLG because I think that I think Viper, or who is it? I always forget who HLE is. HLE and BLG's bot laner. It was literally the exact same
Guma versus Viper.
That's who it is. It's Guma, right? Yeah. Okay. I always mix them up because I think of different years, but I think they're both going to play control mages, same as Pays, and it truly is going to come down to top lane. So like it's going to come down to top lane, jungle support, or jungle mid every single game.
Yeah.
And I just think I think Zeus is extremely good, or sorry, Zeus, however you say it, but I think BLG will win, yeah. But I think it's going to be extremely close. Like even if HLE won, like I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Like I just think that I like the way that BLG played, and I really liked how BLG played in first stand. Like they literally just like, I don't want to say they 2v8'd, but their top and jungle literally just like ran the map. So.
They did, yeah. No, I like that shot. Hey, pick of the LPL, I like it. Back to I want to close out things. I want to now look, a bit future, right? Obviously, you're in the NACL. The first thing I kind of want to ask is, because you keep referring to this like I'm going to give it a year to like do this. And I know you're doing a PhD. Very smartly of you to like balance chasing this and something as like a fallback. Have you extended that window, or like now that you're in the NACL, has the outlook changed at all around your approach to chasing this at all?
Yeah, it wasn't like a year to be like, oh, I have a year to play the game. It was more
Yeah.
so like I'm giving myself a year to see progress. So the one great thing about I would say about this split is that I actually will not play. I potentially, if I make playoffs, fingers crossed, will be the only thing that I will actually play that will interfere with any class that I have. So all of my regular season games will actually be before I ever start class for my PhD.
Right.
And so, I was really, really wanting to try to make it to this split so I could give it my all. Because, of course, anyone who does CLoL as well can tell you that, like, they can't 100% play the game. Because, of course, you have, other things. You have class or homework or tests. So to have the opportunity to spend a summer to really just have 100% league is really what I wanted to do. And it's not to say if I do bad this split that I won't play in another one or won't try and do another OQ. It's just to say, like, this is my best opportunity to really hone in on just league and not have to worry about class or homework or whatever the case may be. So, yeah.
That's really cool. So you'll have that pocket of time. Now looking into the NACL, I kind of want to ask you. It's kind of a basic question, but I think it's valuable. Who are you looking to match up into, right? Because I'm sure a lot of these top laners, I'm pretty confident you've run into maybe all of them in solo queue before, or maybe at least a good chunk of them. But
yeah, I have.
In like a competitive aspect, like knowing the top laners that you're going to go up against, what names are you looking forward to playing against? You being such a big Camille guy, immediately, I don't know if this is gonna be one of your answers. Like Denethor was like a guy that I also think of as like a big Camille guy. Who are you excited most to like face off of in the NACL for summer?
I don't know if the groups have been announced, but just like disregarding I don't know if they have or not, but disregarding the groups, I'll just say the top players I want to play against.
Yeah.
I would say, like, of course, yeah, like you said, I've played against everybody in solo queue, but playing somebody in a competitive environment is extremely different. So I've played against Zamudo in like one scrim before, but it was actually when I was at UHSP. So my team is extremely different, and I'm also like to think that I'm extremely different.
Right.
So I'm excited to play. Like, if I had the choice to play against the bottom 5 teams and the top 5 teams, I'm choosing the top 5 teams every time.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as when I said when I'm on contingent. If I'm gonna suck, it's gonna be obvious.
Yep.
So I'm excited to just play against the top and see like what is truly the difference, or like what is like Sniper, for example, or Zabuto have that I potentially don't yet. Not that I don't have, but I don't yet have. So being able to have the humble mindset of like they potentially could be better than me right now, and that's okay. But like I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about me. So what can I potentially learn from them while I'm playing against them to improve me? So that's what I'm most excited about playing in the NACL, would be just playing against the top teams and seeing, what they do better to then allow for like a person like me or somebody else to potentially make more mistakes. So yeah.
I like it. And it's another test for you, right? It goes back to this sort of, I'm going to give it my all in the NACL. Like, you're obviously going to give yourself some grace to like learn from some of those matchups.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like, it's another one of those scenarios where it's like, I'm going to give it my all. If I'm good enough to be a top NACL top laner, I will. And then then maybe when you know what, I'm confident. I'll be the confidence for you. When that happens, we'll have another conversation about where that goes next. Yeah, so I mean, I'm super excited to see you match up against some of these guys. It's been such a fun kind of meteoric rise. The last question I'll ask about NACL is, before we wrap things up here, apart from like some of your teammates, I kind of did this with like Sushi, because he has a lot of guys that he knew coming up. Are there like what are some other players in the NACL that you think more people should be watching, or like you're fans of their game, right? It doesn't even have to be top laners. Just like, who are some other guys that if someone asked you like, who are some players that you like to watch in the ACL? Who are they? You feel like?
Of course, I'll give a shout to my old teammate. I think Dardock's like extremely good.
Yeah.
Like, I think that like it's hard to quantify like what he does for a team, and it's like there was a lot of conversation back in the day about like, oh, you have to be a certain age, or you have to be like, oh, how many years like left from tier 1. But like truly, like Dardock, like he knows how the game's supposed to be played, and he has it in his brain, and he's really able to like help people learn, but also like flowing information through him and receiving it is extremely like positive for the team. And I think he does a lot of that, and it's hard to see when you're just watching. So I enjoy watching CCG. I like enjoying. I really enjoy watching Conviction. Like, I know you said I don't have to talk about top laners, but I truly do like watching Sniper lane
Of course, yeah.
because it's like there's a fine line between cockiness and confidence, and I think he rides that line every single time he plays, but in the best way possible. It's the same thing with Ben. You're trying to find that happy medium of like they are skilled. Like every single time that you're gonna go into lane against a Sniper, or a big one was Eugen Baby. For those of you who know who that is, like he's a huge solo queue player in NA. Like he is gonna skill check you every single time you get in the lane because they want to know what potential things they can get away with every single time they play. So it's really nice, like seeing that and seeing like, okay, is Sniper like doing this because it's the right thing to do, or is he doing this because he's creating his plan of the lane based off around the person he's playing against? So I really like watching that too.
Okay, yeah, I like those shout outs a ton. Well, this has been a very long but fun chat here, Cole.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I like to talk. So.
No, listen. You're talking to a guy who literally just yaps into this. I love talking to, my friend, and it was great. I hope a lot of people now can get to know more about Cole, more about JonnyRockets. I've said it in many places, including the promotion tournament, for anyone to stick along this long. But this guy next to me, I think it can be one of the great stars in the NACL. I believed it back. I'm not gonna pretend like I was blasting it everywhere when I saw you make the run on St. Louis, the pharmaceutical school. But I saw it then. It's awesome to see how you scaled up now, my friend, and I can't wait to see you in the NACL. And hopefully I get a cast one of your guys' series. But that will wrap up the interview portion. If you guys are watching on YouTube or anything, we're gonna allow Cole to kind of teach you guys some things about some of his favorite top lane champions really quickly. So make sure to go check out those videos, and we will head over there. But thank you, everyone, who stuck around for the interview, and we'll see you for the next edition on Slayer's Lair.